welcome to the stage the absolute voice acting legend and basically Futurama in one person, Billy West! Hopefully. I'd love to say I've done complete prep for this, but we shall see.
How about this guy breaking his neck all day, huh? Give him a chair.
No, they don't care, it's fine.
Oh, come on.
Well, hello.
Hello.
So, right, to begin with, let's start. Like, how are you finding Yorkshire Cosplay Con so far?
Wonderful. So far I've been in a room, another room, a car, and a room. I didn't get to see the Forest Primeval or anything.
That's a large, yeah. Are you in the country much longer? Have you got far to go after this then?
On the way out tonight in the middle of the night, just like any good thief.
Oh no. Next time if you're back, make sure you have a couple of days. Because, I mean, we have Meadow Hall nearby. Who here likes Meadow Hall?
But I'm having nothing but fun today. Most people come up to the table and it's like, you know, you can just fool around and all the cartoons I did, like Ren and Stimpy, was like,
"Hey Ren, will you button me? Will you shut up, you fool? Else I shall kill you."
You know, and then there was Doug on Nickelodeon, the Nick Doug, not the Disney Doug.
Well, I'm a painfully shy 11-and-a-half-year-old. This is my dog, Porkchop. And, oh, here comes Roger. That's right, loser. I'm running for office, so vote for this.
And I did Futurama, which is Philip J. Fry.
Man, all this constant exposure to radiation is making me thirsty.
And then there's the Professor. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. And then there's Dr. Zoidberg.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's take these gloves off, it's hot enough. Just for pure meme purposes, and because I need it in my life, can I please have a recording of you saying I don't want to live on this planet anymore?
You're rolling?
That's amazing. Guys, get your cameras out for this one. Like, this is totally one of the elephant. Just get a wave of rustling as everyone gets their phones out. Here we go. Right, are we all ready? Everyone is already prepped. Ready, here we go.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Guys, just a round of applause for that.
Thank you.
Oh.
And Dr. Zoidberg. You need an autograph? Why not Zoidberg? Why not Zoidberg? I'm startling.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't think I could fall more in love with you. But I already am.
Well, Zap Brannigan wears that man skirt kind of thing.
Wait, where's Zap? Zap, stand up for me.
Oh, there he is.
Kid, there he is.
Kid, alert the men. I've made it with a woman.
Okay.
Very good.
Goodness. Oh my goodness, absolutely amazing. Right, so let's bring this madness back to like actual questions. So, I mean, I always try and start from the start. Like, how did you first get into doing voice acting? Where did it come from?
I was a freak. I was like a little kid that Touretted out noises and voices, and everybody was always like, "Can you not do that?" You know, everywhere, anywhere. And I spoke to my aunt the other day, and she said, "You were a weird kid." And you know, all the stuff that I wound up doing is the rewards of a misspent youth, obviously. But I couldn't stop doing those things. And it was like someone said, "How did you get into it?" And I think it's one of those things where it chooses you, rather than you choosing it. It's like one day you get grabbed by some force and it takes you with it.
So it literally was just, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Did you go and do any schooling for it or anything like that? Or was it just kind of...
No, there was no schools, there were no teachers, there was nobody to ask advice about. You had to find your way in the dark. It was one of those things that was such a specialty that you couldn't get info on it. You just had to watch your favorites and listen. You know, your heroes.
So what was your very first, like, voice acting role?
It was in 1988. It was a show called Beanie and Cecil.
Do you want to hear something very terrible, by the way?
What?
That's 1 year before I was born.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is pretty terrible. I just hope I go quietly in my sleep tonight. But Beanie and Cecil was a C6 sea serpent. He was really tall, and he had a pal named Beanie, this little kid. And he had a battle cry, you know, like whenever somebody hassled Beanie or kidnapped him or something, he'd be like, "I'm coming, Beanie boy!" You know, that kind of centaurian. That was the first one I did.
That was a very... Now, I always ask this
Yes?
of all the voice actors, and I always get the same response, and then they eventually answer.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite character?
I can't give you that answer, honestly, because I put 1,000% into everything I ever did. You know, like Futurama, there's a lot of people involved with creating and modeling those characters and the drawings and the writing and the style that they want. So they describe to you what they're looking for and they show you a picture. And I just went with my guts on that, you know, just like whatever what instinctively I thought I should do, I did, and they liked it. But you have to have respect for the writing. And so I just put everything, every single bit of me into every one of those things to pull it off as if it could be real rather than a cartoon.
So I've got to ask, Futurama, when you walked into the audition, were you going there for one character and then just decided, hey, I'll just take all of them?
No, I was supposed to audition for like 2 characters. And the more the time went by, they kept pulling out other drawings, you know, and said, what about this? What about this? And I knew I was on the right track. I figured I would get like 1 character maybe. And then I get this shock that I was going to be doing 4 characters. And, you know, it was Matt Groening, the guy that created The Simpsons. I was like in awe of him.
Do you know why he created that, by the way? Little aside.
What's that?
Mike Groening, do you know why he created Futurama?
Why?
Because when he was doing his university tour, this is a true story, it was a
Really?
really silly one. Yeah, when he was doing his university tour, a student stood up and said, I don't believe you've got any talent. I think The Simpsons was a complete fluke, you didn't know what you were doing and you can't do it again.
You're kidding.
He went home and went, right, I'm going to make it again, and made Futurama.
Oh my God, I didn't know that story.
Yeah, true story.
What a show off, huh?
Yeah, literally, it's just, no, I can make The Simpsons again, except this time in space.
That's right. So there's a new one coming out. It's a new show.
Oh goodness, the fantasy one. Are you anything to do with that?
Yes, I do various characters on it. So is John DiMaggio, Maurice LaMarche, Tress MacNeille, all the biggies that I worked with on Futurama.
How much can you tell about that?
I can say that it's a land of elves, sort of kings and queens, but it's not what you think it's going to be. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons. It's hysterically funny because it's the same writers as Futurama and.
Well, it looks a lot like The Simpsons.
Well, he's got that style. Yeah. But I think he'll go crazy over it because the writing made me laugh so hard. And they've got 10 episodes. They're gonna just put them on Netflix right away so you can binge watch it. You know, something to look forward to.
So, going back to Futurama, it's a bit of a silly one, but recording multiple characters.
Yes.
Was it, or like, if you ever had characters, conversations between the two, is it literally just you stand in front of the mic,
Yes.
you just keep going?
There was 6 pages and I was talking to, I was doing like 3 different characters and they were talking to each other. Someone said, do you realize that you were talking to each other, like all your characters? And I said, well, you meet a better class of people that way, you know?
So it really is just you sat chatting to yourself to a microphone.
You do what's required, otherwise you
amazing.
die a fiery death on a twisted metal fireball going to hell. It's cold in there.
That is, I mean, that's stunning. I mean, obviously, the first, well, for me anyway, the relatively big thing was Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah.
Like, how did that come about that you got, like, the 2 main in that one?
Well, I had done the show Beanie and Cecil, and the animator on that was a guy named John Crispolucci, and he came around and said, I got this show, you know, and he wanted to have me do some voices on it. And he grabbed me for one of the characters, and you know, we screamed and yelled. That's what the dialogue was. There was a lot of screaming and yelling. I didn't think I was going to live. You know, at the time I was married, and I called my wife and I said, Violet, I'm not going to be able to speak anymore. I think I killed myself today. You know, like Alec Baldwin or something. You know,
lost a couple of octaves. On your
Yes, I
voice.
was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I won't be able to do it anymore. But it came around the next day, and I said, well, look, if you're going to be in this game and something like that trips you up, you better quit. So I said, I'll find a way to do it.
Do you have any of those like wonderful moments where you just kind of step out of yourself a little bit and just be like, this is my job, like this is really what I get paid for?
I just came from a place of gratitude always. I have immigrant mentality. In other words, my uncles, they were Irish, and if they had a chance to work 11 hours a day, they would do it. So if I fall short of that, I can hear them yelling at me, And these guys were hardcore. They would go to the bar and they would drink all night, and then instead of going home, they'd go to work and sleep in the doorway so they wouldn't miss a paycheck. They didn't want to go without,
Right. I think we've got our mic guy up there. Let's